Hello, and welcome to another Rambly Rant. For this Rambly Rant, I will be talking about what type of animal I would most like to be. And this is not just a broad, I want to be a cat or a dog, but I also need to pick a specific species of whatever animal. So, let's begin. There are a few I've identified as the quote unquote best creature to be. Firstly, this partially relies on whether you're going to be a pet or a wild animal. If you're going to be a pet, I can't really identify what the best pet to be would be because it's too owner dependent. You could be the best animal in the world and end up in horrible hands, and you're not going to have a good life. So, I've chosen instead to focus on wild animals exclusively. And for this thought exercise, we're going to pretend that human beings do not exist. We're going to focus on the true wild animals in their natural environments. Or, if you didn't focus on that, a scavenging animal that can live in human areas might be the best choice because you could live a somewhat normal life, like a raccoon eating at pizza restaurants. So, my choice is to be a bird. And I'll get into the specific types of birds later on. But the reason I would rather be a bird is because it adds something to the human experience. It's a level of freedom that we don't have. So I could fly, I could move around, you have these increased senses, and certain birds have such a wide availability of where they could go that I feel like there would be enough fuel for my human mind and need for exploration that could make up for a lot of the human amenities that I would have lost. So birds are clean creatures as well. That means they can clean themselves fully. They have self-cleaning, dirt-repellent feathers. You've never really seen a dirty bird that's not designed to get dirty, like a vulture and their big bald head, but their head is bald so that they can go wash it. So birds, wild birds, are rather clean creatures. I don't want to be a cooped up chicken sitting in my own poop, but I believe a wild bird would be quite pleasant. Now, to look at the types of birds, you have to start considering what type of life you want to live. Do you want to be a rather harmless bird that can eat bugs and ground creatures? Do you want to be a nocturnal and silent yet slow bird like an owl, or do you want to be some large bird of prey? This debate requires a certain decision to be made about this thought exercise, and a quite important one, I believe, is are you going to maintain your human brain, or are you going to only be limited to whatever that animal can think? If you're limited to whatever the animal can think, you could live just about. You could look at most of them for their own merits and say, whatever bird could live the longest, survive the best, or have a more fun experience. But if you get your human brain, you get to start thinking about being a magical parrot who can talk in full sentences and thus gets taken care of by circus exhibits until the day it dies, living the nicest life any parrot has ever known. In fact, to be a parrot with a human brain, or any animal that could speak, like a macaw or one of those, could be one of the best lifestyles ever. I could ask, as the bird, could you please purchase me a television and place it right here in my room? And I would like to watch the History Channel right now. You could get whatever you wanted as a talking parrot. You might be studied, sure, but then when they try to start studying, you could say, I do not consent to studying me in this manner. I am intelligent and I require rights. You'd flip the world on its head, but I think you could get a pretty good, nice life out of it, especially if you play your cards right. So, if I could maintain my human brain, I would go for a talking bird, a macaw, or a parrot, and just mess with everybody. If I couldn't, then I would probably pick the bird that I think has the most interesting lifestyle. And I see that as things like hawks and eagles and greater birds of prey. The problem being, I do have to kill a lot of tiny animals, but I don't think that's something you would mind if you were reduced to that brain either. I don't think I'd have any issues doing that. I don't think I'd be the vegan eagle. Well, I would talk more about this, but it's coming to the end, so goodbye.